What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Back with another live video for you this morning. Happy season opener to everybody, all the Chicago Bears fans out there, all the football fans worldwide. That's right. The NFL is kicking off its season openers for most teams, at least 30 teams today, right? We had Thursday night game that kicked off the season. So a good season opener, LA versus who they play? Buffalo Bills the other night on Thursday night. Listen, this is your Chicago Bears versus the San Francisco 49ers pregame show with Coach T. We're going to break down what the expectations are, going to give a little bit of prediction. Some of them might be a little bit unrealistic. Some might be realistic. But y'all know how I do it on the channel. I'm going to get into the X's and O's and the strategy of this game and how our Bears can pull out the dub. So y'all know what happens next. Let's get into the intro. So cue it up and let's go, Maestro.
Contra.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
And just like that, we're back again. It's your boy, Coach T with Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T and Swifty. Hopefully my boy Swifty will join us later on in the show. We're going to try and get in and get out on this pregame show because Coach T has to travel, man. That's where I moved the show up. I'm going up to celebrate this season opener with my dad and my brother. Taking it back to 85, man, where we all became Bears fans. Well, me and my brother did. My dad was already a Bears fan. I was about 10 years old. My brother was about 2 or 3 years old, man, and it was just three kings sitting watching the game every week, man. 85, bro. And so we're taking it back and celebrate my dad's birthday at the same time. Gonna order some food, man. Sit back and kick back and watch the Bears do their thing, man. Do me a favor as you come in the comment section, man. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also follow me on Twitter, Bears360_ Coach T on Twitter. If this is your first time joining the show, welcome. Do me a favor. If you're first time visitor to the show, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel so you can become one of our famous or infamous, however you want to look at it, field soldiers, man. So shout out to the field soldiers. Now listen, guys, I know the apostrophe is in the wrong place, but you guys keep commenting and running up my algorithm. So I'm going to leave the apostrophe in the wrong place and keep doing it because guess what? Every comment count, man. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate my field soldiers. Do me a favor. If you want to become part of field soldiers, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. In about 10 months, over 2,300 subscribers to the channel. That's because here on Chicago Bears 360, man, we offer a little bit different take, man. Yeah, we get into the nuances of football, the X's and O's, but we try to stay away from the conjecture, man. We try to leave a little bit less to guessing, hot takes and stuff like that. We try to focus on the X's and O's when we get into, especially when we get into Coach T's playbook. But this is what you can look forward to, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be at this point in the season because we had a whole off-season of conjecture and hot takes and this, that, and the other, and guessing and all this other stuff. We get to see what the product is like on the field, man. So shout out to all the field soldiers. Shout out to everybody that's tuned into the show. What are we going to expect today, guys? Are you excited for this Bears opener versus the San Francisco 49ers? What are you expecting to happen on the field? We're going to break down every phase of the game. We're going to talk about offense. We're going to talk about defense. We're going to talk about special teams. We're going to talk about some of the coaching matchups and the coaching nuances, that things you can expect from the game and so on and so forth as we get into it. So I'll give you my pick. I'll try to give you what I think the keys are to the game for us to get a W. Of course, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a San Francisco fan. I want us to win. So I'm gonna go into my bag a little bit and think about what actual things do we need to focus on to pull this game off. I don't know what the money line is on this game. I'm not a big sports bettor, but if I'm guessing, I would say San Francisco is picked to win, and the Bears probably have about 7 to 10 points. They'll be given between the difference between the two teams. So again, this is not a sports betting show, but if I had to guess, everybody's picking San Francisco to win between 10 and 14 points, probably 10. So if you want to take the points, I think we can pull this out. And the reason why I believe we can pull this out is because we have the better quarterback. So we'll start there. We'll talk about the quarterback matchup between Trey Lance and Justin Fields. I just think when we talk about the difference between the two quarterbacks, I just feel like Trey still has a lot to prove. Justin is more settled in his role. He's off to a great start at the preseason, going 3-0. His numbers are great. His completion percentage is great. Justin seems to be covering up a lot of the mistakes that he made as a rookie last year. If you go back and watch my breakdown of Justin Fields tape that I did early in the summer, 2 things I said I wanted Justin to emphasize. One, I wanted him to emphasize his snap count, right? Switching up the snap count, not always going on the first sound. And then he did some of that in the preseason versus Kansas City. He kind of reverted back in the game versus Seattle. And I think his coaches were in his ear about playing faster. And that's all well and dandy, but you have to have a process from the time you call a play and break the huddle to the time you get to the line of scrimmage. You have to have a process and to keep with your process. And part of that process is understanding that you have to use the snap count. You have to use your snap count, the hard cadence. You have to go on the second count, third count, and sometimes the fourth count to get linebackers to reveal their blitzes. Linebackers, safeties, corners, whoever the opponent is going to use to blitz, you use your snap count to reveal that. So if you go hard count and you get guys to jump or flinch, then you can come back and reset pass protection. So in today's game, I believe that's going to be key because I believe the 49ers are going to send lots of bodies after Justin in the blitz. They have a stout front 7, right? Their front 7 is probably better than their secondary. So they're going to have to try and win the game with their front 7, their D linemen and their linebackers, right, in order to create some pressure in hopes that, we can push, keep the pressure going. So they can keep the pressure on Justin. So using snap count is a key to Justin for the game for me. And then the second point is picking up the blitzes, recognizing and adjusting protections for the blitzes. The two are tied, right? So remember I said about the snap count, revealing the blitzes. That'll allow Justin to adjust the protection. So a lot of people think it's all on the offensive line to protect the quarterback. After you call out the mic as a center, the responsibility then lies on the quarterback to recognize blitzes and adjust protections. So that's going to be key for Justin to be successful today, right? That's going to be key. So the next step is talking about the offensive line. And we know about the storied history of this offensive line, the terrible offensive line we had last year. Shout out to Ryan Poles for doing the job, but I believe going out and getting solid players to play on the offensive line up front and going with the philosophy of coming up with the best 5 and not just the best 5 at each individual position, right? Not just the best 5 at each individual position, but the best 5 as a group. So there's going to be a big task that we have to take on today. So we're going up against Nick Bosa, one of the premier pass rushers in the league, and we're having a rookie first rounder on the left tackle, which protecting the blind side of our star quarterback, which if you follow me and if you follow me for any significant amount of time, I'm not in favor of starting rookies, especially at left tackle. But I will say Braxton Jones has done a good job versus speed rushers up to this point. He primarily sees a speed rusher in practice every day in one Robert Quinn. So I don't think it's going to be overwhelming for Braxton Jones. What he's going to have to do is get used to game time speed, real game time speed of the NFL. And I think once he settles in, he'll be fine, right? Also, I don't think that, you know what I'm saying, the 49ers are going to only match Nick Bosa up against Braxton Jones. You know what I'm saying? Larry Borom still has a lot to prove on the right side. So I think they'll try and create the best mismatch they can. If they can't get it done versus Braxton Jones, I think they'll move Nick Bosa over to the right side or the left side of the defense and try and, you know, find out who can he get a mismatch against, Braxton Jones or Larry Borom. What I'm going to say about that matchup at either left tackle and right tackle, one of those guys, or both of those guys have to shut Nick Bosa down. We can't chip on both sides, right? That's how you compromise your offense, right? As an offensive play caller, as an offensive coordinator, you don't want to be chipping and keeping your tight end and your running back in. If you got to help on both sides, so we got to keep a tight end in on the right side and chip on the left side with a running back, or help on the with a running back. That compromises what we can do in our offense because it becomes a numbers game at that point, right? So 5-man protection, you go from 5-man protection with your front five to 7-man protection. That's taking numbers. That's taking eligible receivers away from your route combinations, and you're putting your offense at a disadvantage and the defense at an advantage, because if you have 7-man protection plus the quarterback, that's 8, then you only have 3 guys that can go out in routes. Now, if the defense is only rushing with 4, that's 3 versus 7. So pay attention to that as you watch the game today. Pay attention to that as you watch the game today. A little bit peek at the offensive line play, peek at the backfield, understanding how we're protecting Justin, if we're chipping with running backs, if we're chipping with tight ends, if we're going with 70 protection versus 50 protection, which is 5-man and 7-man protection. That is going to be key to the game, how we protect Justin. If Braxton is able to win his one-on-one matchup, right, then it's going to make it a better day, a good day for the Chicago Bears. Also on the opposite side, if Larry Borom is able to win his one-on-one matchups, then it's going to be a good day for the Chicago Bears. As far as the interior offensive line, I also include the fact that Sam Mustipher has to have a great day, right? Sam has played great, decent. I'll say decent throughout the preseason, but Sam has to have a great day as well. But I'm less worried about the interior because it's easier to double on the interior, right? Sam can get help from Cody Whitehair, or he can get help from Tevin Jenkins on the inside. But we have to protect the edges. We have to be able to protect the edges with 5-man protection and win the one-on-one battles, so we can have more eligible receivers in the route patterns, and we can run our concepts, right? So with that, I also mentioned that we won't have Velus Jones Jr., I'm told, today. And I believe this puts us at a strategic disadvantage during this game, and I'll tell you why. All the offseason, I've been lauding the fact that we did get another speedster, a big body speedster, a stout speedster, somebody that could take the top off coverage. And when people say things like take the top off coverage, what I mean is when you have 2 speedsters, 2 guys that you could put at the X and the Z position, then it forces defenses to play too high safety, right? And if you can force defenses to play too high safety, then it leaves you with 7-man boxes, and the 7-man boxes are easier to run the ball against, right? So you want to create that conflict for a defensive coordinator by having 2 speedsters on the outside to force them, to scare them into playing too high safety, right? Too high safety looks, so you can open up the middle of the field for a run game, or you can open up the middle of the field for your tight end to have a good game, and so on and so forth. But the fact that we don't have Velus makes me a little bit concerned with that, but I still believe that maybe Byron or EQ on the outsides potentially can force us, force San Francisco into playing too high a little bit. But I think if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm a little bit less scared, right? I'm a little bit less scared because we don't have Valus back there or out there at the X or Z. And I'm a little bit less scared that you can blow past me and beat me on the go routes or the 9 routes on the outside. So what am I expecting San Francisco to do? I'm expecting San Francisco to expect us to want to come out and dominate the game through the run game, right? So, and I believe that's exactly what we have to do. We have to run the ball, and we have to stick with the run. We have to commit to the run, and we have to play a field position game. We have to play this game a little bit conservative because we have to establish our identity. Like, we have to hit that outside zone. We have to hit, I believe, the counters off the outside zone. And this is a great test for our offense and our defense, because if there's a team out there that we want to emulate as the Chicago Bears, the San Francisco 49ers is probably the model, right? You want to do what Kyle Shanahan does. You want to run outside zone. You want to counter. You want to run your counters, your counter trays, your pulling guards. You want to have your pulling guards and tackles off the outside zone. So I'm interested in seeing how Luke Getsy employs some of that in a running game. But the key to the game today for me is we have to run the ball. We have to stick with the run. We have to run the ball in a variety of ways, right? We have to run the balls off jet sweeps. We have to get outside zone. We have to get tosses in. We have to get counter plays that I've shown you over the summer in my playbook. Things like that. We have to run the ball, find unique ways to get our playmakers the ball in a myriad of ways. Also, I believe the screen game is going to be important. It's going to be extremely important, because if you have the quick hits, the quick screen games, the tunnel screens, bubble screens, and we can execute against those, again, what that will force you to do, even if a team plays with a loaded box and 8-man boxes, right? A quick screen game will force them. It's a good countermeasure to man coverages or cover 3, right? So we can compromise them and we can get some easy yards in the quick screen game. That way we don't have to always count on Justin to drop back, read coverages, find holes in the coverage, and, be able to pick the defenses apart, right? So quick screen game, run the ball, quick screen game. And then I'll also mention, I believe Cole Kmet has to have a great day today, right? Because Valus is out. Cole has to make plays today. This season, we're looking for Cole to make plays. Cole has to take the next step for this offense and become a reliable weapon for Justin Fields this year in order for us to be successful, right? So look for Cole to kind of, attack the seams a little bit, to make some plays in the seams. So if they're going to play cover 3 or man coverage, especially cover 3, then you expose a cover 3 in the seams, right? So Cole has to get up in the seams, find those gaps in the seams, and make plays. That's one way we can compromise San Francisco's offense. So I covered the quarterback, the offensive line. I'll talk about David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert and our running back core real fast. You know what I'm saying? It's not real complicated. They just have to run downhill, one cut and go, right? Fall forward at all times. David do what he does, break tackles, run after contact. We really have to punish this team early and get to the fourth quarter, right? Lean on them early. It's like body blows in boxing, right? You have to run the ball early. That way, when we get to the fourth quarter, we can just basically play a little bit of bully ball and bully San Francisco in the fourth quarter by establishing our presence up front, establishing ourselves in the run game, and then get to the fourth quarter and make them stop the run in the fourth quarter. So the key for us, it all starts with the run, play action off the run. I'll talk about the pass game a little bit. We can run some play action, some boots, some drags. I expect to see a lot of mesh concepts, a lot of New York concepts. I don't know. I forget I'm drawing a blank right now. But a lot of mesh concepts, a lot of booty off of the outside zones, and off the counters. It's all on Luke today, right? This is going to be a Luke Getsy staple game. This is going to be a Luke Getsy staple game. Do me a favor for my moderators in the comments. Do me a favor. Go ahead and block all the spammers in the comment. But this is going to be a Luke Getsy game. If we're going to pull this out, it's going to be not how fancy Luke can be. It's going to be about his ability to establish us in the run game, to run the ball a variety of ways, right? To run it through jet sweeps, toss, counters, like I said, and really find unique ways to run the ball, especially because we're expecting rain today in today's game. It's going to be especially important that we run the ball and we shorten the clock as well, right? So it's all on Luke. He has to find unique ways of getting our weapons the ball and, making things happen like that. So I covered the offense real fast. We're going to jump in the comment section real fast to address some of your comments, and we're going to...
It goes down in the DM. It go down in the DM.
Y'all know how we do it. It goes down in the DM. I'm going to jump in the comment section real fast. Do me a favor. If you're watching this on the playback, you join us live, run those likes up, man. Let's get the algorithm busting. I want to see what y'all saying in the comments real fast. Derek Carter says the rain will slow that speed down today, I think. I agree with you. I agree with you, Derek. But here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? First game of the season, you don't want the ball in the air a whole lot. You don't want the ball in the air a whole lot. So I was, again, run the ball and stick with the run. Tell your running backs to make sure they're securing the ball today. Again, first game of the season. You don't want there to be any sloppy play at all. We did a good job in the preseason of being very disciplined when the ball. I don't think we turned the ball over much at all in the preseason. So stick with that. Secure the ball and then take advantage of opportunity and take the ball away on defense, right? So, but we have to run the ball. We have to run the ball. We have to do some zone read as well. We got to allow Justin to keep the ball on 3rd and 4th and short on some of those zone read plays and be a dynamic playmaker with his legs because of the rain, particularly. My man Baki, shout out my man Baki. What's up, Bak? I see you in the chat. One of my moderators, long-time supporters. Steve-O, I see you. All my field soldiers in the comments. Happy season opener to you guys, man. I see you in the chat. My man Derek. Cornelius Quayle says Bosa is going to get steady diet of tight ends and fullbacks. I agree with you, man. I don't know. I agree with you. But my question for Luke is, do you come out chipping and helping? Or do you wait, right? Do you wait do you give Braxton and Gang an opportunity to see what they can do in one-on-one matchups first, right? Before you start throwing additional bodies at them, right? Or you can attack it this way. You can throw in additional bodies at them at first, right? Just to slow them down, to take some of that edge off of them, beat them down a little bit, and then you can get to the 4th quarter. Then you can allow your guys to go one-on-one. But I believe at some point you're going to have to see what you got up front in terms of one-on-ones with Braxton Jones and Larry Borom and see what they can do. If I was Luke, I would attack Bosa a number of ways, right? I would give him some blind side blocks, some crack backs. I would get him thinking and wondering where these blocks are going to come from throughout the game. Don't allow him to just pin his head back, pin his ears back, and attack your offensive lineman. If you hit him with a few crack back blocks off of motions, right? So if you motion guys towards him and they crack him where he doesn't know where the hit is coming from, just pick on him. Pick on him with your receivers. Pick on him with your tight ends. Blindside him. Like, you just got to, just make him feel like he's being bullied by blockers and attack them that way. And I think, it'll cause them to slow down. Then you can get, like I said, to the 4th quarter, and then you can perhaps give your guys some opportunities for some one-on-ones in the 4th quarter once his legs have gotten a little bit tired and worn a little bit and go like that. Jonathan Russell said, we'll see what Braxton Jones is made of today. Absolutely, man. It's barbecue, mildew, or doo-doo. I have to put my head above the graphic. But it's barbecue, mildew, or doo-doo. It's all, the season is here now. All the hype is over with. I'm proud of what he's done in the preseason. Shout out to my boy Swift. I still don't like, rookie left tackles. But, Braxton has proven most of the common traditional logic wrong. And shout out to Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham for being able to get out there and, find offensive line talent. And that's one of the things that we said about this new regime coming in, right? We said that they probably are going to be tested about their ability to find offensive linemen and grade and judge offensive linemen, especially because they're two former offensive linemen, right? So if they bring over the mentality from Kansas City and we bring over their record from Kansas City fared well in their ability to find offensive linemen in places that are less popular, right? In the latter rounds of the draft, free agents or guys that, other teams that just given up on. Case in point, we just signed Alex Leatherwood. Will we see him today? I doubt it. But, I guarantee you at some point, some of those other guys, Carter, Leatherwood, some of the other guys throughout the season, injuries happen, and you're going to see some of those guys. So, yeah. Derek Carter saying, I swag dog drip. I see you. Yeah, Derek, I have to break out the hoodie with the jersey. Yeah, I got the drip on today. I may post a full body pic on my Twitter on Bears360 _ Coach T. I also have the Bears pants on, and I got my Jordan 720s on as well today. If you don't know what those are, Google them. So got drip head to toe, hoodie with the jersey, Bears joggers on, and my Jordan, my white and blue Jordan 720s on today. You got to drip it out, man. Gonna be out in the city. Running around, picking up food to celebrate my dad's birthday. By the way, happy birthday, Pops. I don't know if you tuned in the show. He probably not even up yet. But if he is, he's going to comment in the section. But happy belated birthday to my Pops. His birthday was Friday. He's the reason why I'm a Bears fan, man. So back in these comments section. Let's see. Jonathan Russell said, Coach T always bringing fire with his Bears gear. Man, I appreciate the comments, man. Yeah. The drippiest content creator on YouTube. I can say that for sure. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can debate me about content creation, you know what I'm saying? The professionalism, all the art graphics and stuff like that. By the way, I haven't been in my usual spot in my studio because we're working on a remodel project for my basement. And once we get that done, it's going to have more of a studio effect for the show. So I'm looking forward to that. So we can bring you fire Bears content. But until that's done, y'all going to get this, you know what I'm saying, traditional Bears background. But you definitely going to get the drip. Coach T going to have, you know what I'm saying, the Bears drip. Matter of fact, I'm ordering some new stuff. Probably this coming up Friday for both me and my wife, because we got to give you that. Keep that fire drip coming. Y'all know how I do it. Definitely the drippiest content creator on YouTube. Valhalla said Kittles is Valhalla awaits. Valhalla awaits, man. We have a Vikings fan on the chat. No, I'm talking about Vikings, the TV show, not the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, man, let's talk about it. That's a great segue into talking about the defense, the keys to the defense, and great performance on the defense side of the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's actually the polar opposite of what I said about our offense. You know what I'm saying? I said our offense has to run the ball. Our defense has to stop the run with our front seven. Now, I say that casually. And anybody that follows me knows how much of a Kyle Shanahan fan I am, right? So while I'm watching the game, I'm always paying attention. And if I'm going to watch anybody other than the Bears, I'm actually going to watch the San Francisco 49ers because as a coach, I love stealing stuff, right? I love stealing plays. And Kyle Shanahan is my guy, especially in the run game. Kyle Shanahan runs the ball. His run games, his run concepts are so exceptional. And the Bears players are going to have to contend with that. Allen Williams is going to have to find a way with our front seven, right? With our front seven only to stop the run. Now, I say that, and even as I said, I'm not necessarily 100 that we have to stop the run with our front seven, but if we can stop the run with our front seven, meaning our D linemen and our linebackers, right, then it's going to make it easier for us to shut down Trey Lance in the pass game. If we can stop the Kyle Shanahan's run game with our front seven, then it's going to make the game much easier for our DBs to play behind that front seven. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities for turnovers, I believe, for Brisker, for Eddie Jackson, for Kyler Gordon, for Jalen Johnson. And also, I'll say this, with Kittle's not playing, that frees up the bandwidth, the mental bandwidth for our linebackers, right? So they don't have to worry about covering as much. They're still going to have to worry about coverage with Kyle Shanahan because he's crafty regardless of players. He's able to get the best out of, no-name guys, right? Because of his system. His system, like I say about our Bears, we want the system to be the star, right? Kyle Shanahan has perfected, making his system the star. So I wouldn't really overlook their tight ends and the ability to have a good game, but I'll say this frees up our linebackers' ability to just be able to run and hit going on. But the keys to the game for our defense is the ability to stop the run. Hopefully we can stop the run with our front seven. If we can't stop the run with our front seven, bring in or bring down a safety in the box. It's probably going to be Brisker, right? Look for Brisker to have a great day because Kyle Shanahan likes to run the ball outside zone. Like I said, if there was a mirror team to us that you'll probably see out there, it's the San Francisco 49ers. So to a great degree, we're set up for success, right? We've been practicing against this style offense all offseason, right? So now we just got to run, hit, punch the ball, and make things happen, right? We have to do big things in a rut game. So expect Brisker to come down in the box when necessary, right? And Allen Williams has shown he's not afraid to bring Brisker down in the box so he can make plays. So expect Brisker to make plays. Now, somebody said it. I'm going to go ahead and jump on that comment. Cornelius said, eye discipline is the key for the defense. Absolutely. Especially in a Kyle Shanahan, going against a Kyle Shanahan offense. Because like I said, Kyle loves to run zone, outside zone, and he loves to run those counters off the outside zone. So if you get too caught up in flowing and chasing the ball to the outside zone, then that's when he's going to come back and counterpunch you with those counter trades, right? Where he's pulling guards and tackles and tight ends. And Kyle Shanahan will pull anybody across the formation to get a numbers advantage in the run game. Another thing he loves to do in his run game is to pull bodies, but also pull bodies with jet sweeps, right? So he'll give you jet sweeps. He'll give you reverses. He'll give you the screen game. Kyle Shanahan does a great job at taking advantage of all 53 and 1 yards width of the field, right? The width of the field, he does a good job at. Same thing Luke has to do today for us. But we have to defend the first level and the second levels of the defense, I believe. And we have to focus on taking that away. So we have to stop their run. That's the thing. We have to stop their run. We want to make Trey Lance a pocket quarterback. Force him to do what we believe he's not good at yet so far, right? Keep him in the pocket, make him a pocket passer, force him to read defenses and get him out of his comfort zone. Also, play discipline in the zone read game because I know for a fact, I believe that Kyle Shanahan will probably try to use Trey Lance's legs in the zone read game. So he'll have him hand off a few of those zone read plays, right? And then he'll have him do some keepers, right? But we have to be super disciplined, right? We have to be super disciplined with our eyes. And that play alone, right, may cause us to play with a little bit more 8-man boxes and to even force them to play to use the RPO game. I'm not afraid of Trey Lance versus using the RPO game. I'm more afraid of zone read, him keep giving the ball and him keeping, right? Debo Samuels, jet sweep game, right? And the counter, the Trey game, the counter game, right? The pulling guards, pulling tackles. We have to shut all that down. We have to shut all that down. Force this guy to drop back and read defenses. And I believe if we do that, if we're able to do that, we're going to see plenty of opportunities to pick off plays, potentially score on the defense. Also, I'll say this, last but not least, we have to follow the hits principle. We have to turn the ball over. We got to punch at the ball. We got to rake at the ball, especially with it being a rain game. We're going to have to rake at the ball. We're going to have to punch at the ball. We're going to have to try to get 11 hats to the ball every play and increase our opportunities to turn the ball over. That's what we're going to have to do. I'm going to take a pause for a real section and go back to the DM section to catch up with some of these questions. Vince just joined us, so I'm going to throw his question up on the board. He said, would you like Patrick or Jenkins on right guard today? No, I would like us to play the guys we've been playing. I don't want us to, you know what I'm saying, change up or switch up the line at the last minute. If Luke is Patrick, and I don't remember if the cast is on or the injury was on his snapping hand or his offhand. But if Lucas Patrick is eligible to play, I want him at center more so than I want the guard. Tevin Jenkins is more capable of dominating at the right guard. And plus he needs as many reps as we can get with him at right guard. Plus, if he's at right guard also, on certain plays, he'll be able to help Larry Borom in pass protection if need be. So I prefer Tevin Jenkins at right guard over Lucas Patrick. If we're going to put Lucas Patrick in the game and his hand is healthy, his thumb is healthy, he's able to grip and snap the ball, put him at center because he's also going to help Justin with the line calls. He's going to point out the mic. He's going to give the initial slide protection call. So that one of the reasons why you point out the mic is so you'll know where the numbers are, right? And so you'll give a lightning or rain call. Speaking of rain today, usually my call's the one I use in my offense because it's the pass game and it's, lightning and rain happens in the sky. So lightning is you slide 3 bodies to the left, right, to the numbers, right? You slide the numbers to the left. You go 3 by 2, right? The 2 have man blocking on the backside. Running back steps in between the 3 by 2 split and picks up any blitzes that come, right? Rain is a polar opposite. You slide 3 bodies to the right, with zone protection. So those 3 bodies are zone guys. They're stepping to a zone. Running back steps in between the 2 and the 3. The 2 guys on the backside, they have men. They have to win their one-on-one matchups, right? So having Luke there would help ensure we're sliding protection to the right way, and it'll help Justin out with adjusting the pass protections. So that's that. Demand Shy. I'm expecting to see some inside blitzes, stunts to test that interior line of the 49ers. Yes, I agree. That's, I didn't talk a lot about, the Bears pass rush, right? But I'll jump into that. That's a good segue, and thanks for the reminder. I said this throughout the preseason, right? I haven't been totally impressed with our front seven when it came to rushing the passer. But in this particular game, I'm not all that concerned about it because if we can get to third down and we can get to third and long and force Trey Lance to be a pocket quarterback, just giving them different looks, right? Yeah, we got to get to the quarterback, but giving them different looks with pressure and forcing them to read defenses, I just don't know if he's there yet. I don't know that he's proven that he can find the holes, especially in zone coverages, in mixed blitz look, zone blitz looks, where he can find the holes in defenses. Yes, we got to get to the pass rush. I'm not negating that. But as long as we can get to 3rd and long, and when I say 3rd and long, get to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and beyond that, right? Beyond that, 3rd and 4 up, 3rd and 5 up, where we know he has to drop back, right? Where they can't just line up and get 4 or 5 yards on the run, which goes back to the first point. Stop the run, right? Send the message, right? That you're not just going to run it down our throats. Get them to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 and above, and force them to be a pocket quarterback. And yes, twists and stunts. Get creative with the pass rush if our guys aren't getting home. And last but not least, if we absolutely have to, send extra bodies to create pressure. If we have to, send extra bodies. We haven't proven that we can get home in the preseason, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. Also say this, right? I'll talk about special teams real fast, and then I'm one of the key points I say that I tweeted yesterday about, this game is not having Velus Jones Jr. again puts us in a different position. Field position. This is going to be a field position game because of the run anyway. But this is how we have to win games this year. By field position, great defenses, giving Justin Fields shorter fields, right? And having to make shorter drives. That helps. So not having Velus out there, I'm going to be interested in seeing who we have in the return game, and if we can have somebody in the return game that makes good plays, somebody that can field the ball cleanly, don't let the ball hit the ground, whether it's in the kick return game, in the punt game, don't let the ball hit the ground. Get 5, 10, 15 yards in the return game, every pop. In the kick return game, make plays, make exceptional plays in the kick return game. Get us great field position, shorter fields for Justin Fields to drive the ball down the field to make plays on. So we have to be exceptional in all phases, definitely the kick game, kick return game. And then in our special teams, in our return, our coverage games, we just got to cover. We got to hit. We got to punch. We got to apply the hits principle even in our coverage game as well. When we get there, 11 hats to the ball, punching and raking at the ball, forcing turnovers, being deliberate about trying to attack the football. Yes, this is going to be a key component of the game so we can potentially pull out the win. Jonathan, you said he has to go. The man's shy. You have to be able to pressure on him too. I think if you let him sit comfortably, he'll look like Jimmy G last year against us. We didn't even sniff Jimmy G last year. Yeah, I don't remember the details of the game, but I feel like we had that game up to a certain point. We were up in the game like we were a lot of games last year. We just didn't make a play here and there and caused us to lose the game. Hey, I'm going to be on about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to be out of here because I got to order food and get going. So I'm going to keep going through the comments. So do me a favor. Like you said earlier, man, run that like, subscribe, hit the notification bell up. Y'all also catch me on Twitter, man. I don't hear a lot of these same names on Twitter. So catch me on Twitter. Vernell Gordon says, Coach, let me get my graphic right. What do you think is going on with Tevin? Because I was surprised that Courtney Crone reported he was demoted back to second string. First time I've heard that. So we'll see who they roll out there with the first team when they come out during the game. I would say this. If he was demoted back to the second string, Coach Eberflus, Chris Morgan had a great reason for doing it. I've said this a few times on Twitter based off of the interviews I saw about Tevin Jenkins, man. I still question whether he's totally bought into playing right guard. I really believe in his head he still thinks of himself as a tackle, and it's going to take us a few games. We're going to have to win games with him at right guard before he just totally dismisses the concept of playing tackle for the Chicago Bears. He may get moved to another team and still become a great tackle with another team, but I think it's going to take us winning 3 or 4 games, us having some success with him at right guard before he just really says, okay, this is best for the team. We're winning. Winning cures everything. Winning cures everything. So I haven't heard that report, but I would love to have Tevin at right guard if we don't have him at tackle. I want him on this team. He's definitely the most talented guy of the front four as far as pure physical skills. He's dominant in the run game. He's very physical. He's big as all get out. And I believe he'll be exceptional in the NFL regardless of where he's landing. I definitely want, at some point, I want us to get Patrick back as soon as possible so we can have what I call that V12 offensive line. Remember, I always draw the analogy, your offensive line is like the engine to your truck or your car. You know what I'm saying? You have a bad offensive line. It's like having a four-banger with a blown cylinder, right? Having a four-banger with a blown cylinder. You just can't, your offense doesn't move with an engine like that, right? You need to have that V12 offensive line. I think our version of a V12 is Braxton and Larry winning their one-on-one matchups, right? So we can go with five-man protection mostly. And then our interior offensive line, Cody Whitehair, Patrick at the center, and Tevin at right guard. And then wherever Alex Leatherwood develops in the future, and I believe he will develop, I believe at some point he's going to push one of these guys for a starting job, or injury will result in one of these guys just losing their job. And I don't want to leave out my boy Jatari Carter, who played at Southern last year, who's beat all the odds and made himself a presence in that offensive line room. So, yeah, those are my guys. So I'll recap real fast. Keys to the game, offensively. Run the ball, stick with the run it in a myriad of ways, not just outside zone. You have to outside zone, you have to counter, you have to run zone read, you have to run jet sweeps, and then go to your quick screen game, whether it's a hitch, quick hitches, bubble screens, tunnel screens, tight end screens, running back screens. And then off of your outside zone and your counters, plenty of boot actions with drags and mesh concepts off of that. I forget the one concept. I actually deleted from my playbook. I forget the one concept where they run the player off and then they run the drag across the field, a deep drag, deep middle drag, Yankee concept. Came to me that fast. I knew it had something to do with New York. Running the Yankee concept. The Yankee concept is where you run somebody down the field, down the middle to occupy two safeties, and you run like a deep middle drag off of play action. So play action off Yankee concepts. But again, this is going to be a Luke Getsy, Allen Williams game. This is where they have to prove themselves, right? This is how they have to prove themselves, how creative they can be. And I'm not talking about creative in terms of fancy. I'm talking about coming in and establishing a style of football, a physical style of football. So run the ball on offense, get your stuff off, and then take your shots. Take your shots when the defense is conflicted, when they're conflicted, when you can get beyond them in play action game, or they're playing 8-man boxes and they leave Darnell Mooney on the outside 1-on-1 versus 1. We can check up and get the ball out there and make plays. Defensively, while we had about 8.5 minutes left, defensively, stop the run, turnover. Stop the run is the key to everything with a Kyle. If you can stop the run versus Trey Lance, we will win this game, right? If San Francisco runs for, I'll say, an easy one is 100 yards. San Francisco runs for less than 100 yards, but I'm going to stretch that out a little bit and say San Francisco minus 125, so less than 125 in the run game, we win the game. Less than 125 yards on the ground, we win the game because we force Trey Lance to be a pocket quarterback. Stop them. Stop their outside zone. Stop their counter game. Stop their jet sweep game, right? Stop them to zone read. Recognize everything. Just run the ball and hit everything moving, right? And then we have to get some breaks. We have to turn the ball over. And as well, like make them. I want to see Trey Lance throw the ball like he's not even Jimmy G, right? He's not even Jimmy G. So make him get back there and drop back. Jimmy G can't Jimmy G well, right? So cause doubt. This team is not really sold on Trey Lance. They didn't even elect him as a captain for this team this year. They're not really sold on him. So instill or cause a little doubt with this team, with the coaching staff, with the players amongst themselves, all that. You know what I'm saying? Really make this guy look bad. And then I'll take a step back, right, and go back. And I haven't said much about Coach Eberflus, but I'll say this. The keys is, and I believe Coach Eberflus has it in his repertoire, his game management, his clock management, his organization skills, game operations, right? When to challenge, when to call the timeout, knowing what buttons to press with his coaches. Great head coaches know how to coach their coaches, right? So if the offense is lagging, you got to be able to call up to the top of the booth and say, hey, let's run some tempo to get us out of this lull. He has to be able to see the field from a 50,000-foot viewpoint and adjust his coaches. And then also, I'll say this about Coach Eberflus, to be able to confer with his assistant coaches at halftime and his game time operations ability to make halftime adjustments, because this is going to be a pure chess match, right? A pure chess match. Coaching, I give Kyle Shanahan the advantage. Offensive talent, quarterback, which is key, I give the Bears the edge. Total offense, with receivers, San Francisco may have a little bit of an advantage, right? Offensively. But I think the quarterback is key to this game, right? We should, on paper, lose, but I'm picking the Bears, drum roll. I'm picking the Bears. I'm going to pick my Bears to win anyway. I'm picking the Bears to win 21-17 Bears. We're going to start out the season right with a home opener win versus San Francisco 49ers, 21-17. There's going to be at least one key turnover, right? But potentially two, right? With us playing clean football and not turning the ball over. And I believe that key turnover, one of those key turnovers, is going to be the difference in the game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, but we squeak it out, 21-17. Justin's numbers, I think Justin's numbers will be a little bit pedestrian today. Probably throw about 25 balls, somewhere in the 250 range, right? 250 range, and 2 tutties, right? And then 1 on the ground. That gives us our 3 touchdowns. So predicting Justin will have about, go from like 17 for 25, 2 to 250, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. We'll get 2 through the air, 1 in the ground. Bears win 21-17. Just like that, I'll make a quick detour to the comment section one more time before we get out of here. And then I got to order some food and get on the road. My man Jesse James says, is Dominique Robinson suiting up? Last I checked, he's still on the injury report. Him and Velus Jones Jr. will not be suiting up for the game. Top of the morning, Jesse James. I see you. What do you want to see from Eberflus the first week? Yeah, I answered Vernell Gordon's question already. I want to see Eberflus manage the game, coaches, right? Manage the game time operations. Again, know when to go for it, know when to punt it, play the field position game, know when to challenge, right? Know when to take chances, when not to take chances. But coaches, make sure he has good halftime adjustment and strategy. And more importantly, y'all know he got to do this. You got to bring home that first game of the season pregame speech, man. You got to get in your bag, coach. You got to break out that speech from, win one for the Gipper. You got to have an all-time speech. It has to be something like, we don't have the big names, we don't have all the big name players, but we play together as a team. We play for our brother to our left and our right. F them names. we gonna make our name, something like that. Like we gonna go out there and make your name, right? Play for the name on the front of your jersey as well as the name on your back. But more importantly, play for your brother to your left and your right. You gotta have that pregame speech, coach, to pull it home. You know what I'm saying? So it's 11 o'clock. That's my time. I appreciate y'all joining us. If you're watching this on the playback, do me a favor again. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Tap in. If you want to be a subscriber, tap in. Become one of Field Soldiers. And I'll see y'all maybe after the game, or we'll do a recap on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, Bears360_Coach T. Until next time, y'all tap in, bear down, and happy season opener. Bear down.